Disclaimer. Hello, my name is Hydrocoin, and I am just a college student. All of my videos are for informational purposes only. Now, please keep in mind that you do not want to bottleneck your machine. You have to understand what your operating system uses, the CPU and the RAM required, as well as the space, because the last thing that you want to do is mine this coin and max out your system to where it can't really do anything and the whole thing crashes or freezes. So please keep in mind the resources that are being used for your OS, and then you can dedicate the resources for mining. Good evening, everybody. My name is Hydrocoin, and I know I haven't posted a video in a little bit of time, but that is because I was finishing up school and we just completed with the semester. However, I'm going to go ahead and get into what the video is about today, and that is Chia, a brand new coin that is mineable but not with GPUs, but with plotting on hard drives. Now, I've still got a lot to learn about this, and I will share the information that I do know, but please feel free down below in the comments to correct me if I'm wrong, or fill me on things that you've learned if you are already in this, or that you may have read before you got into this. Now, to do this, you need to go to the chia.net. You will hit install Chia Blockchain. It will bring you to the top here, and you will jump to whatever your OS is. I'm actually using Ubuntu on my spare NAS that I had for my files while I'm in school. I decided to repurpose it, but for this intents purposes, this is a different computer. This is where my recording software is and everything. This is Windows, so we're going to jump to Windows. We install the Windows installer. You can proceed to the quick start guide if you would like, or you can go along with me. It'll download it. Once you've downloaded the Chia GUI, and installed it and ran it, you will see exactly what is on my screen. You will hit create a new private key. You will see a set of words in order. You need to write these down in the correct order and make sure that you spell them correctly, because this is the way that you can back up your wallet. And without these words and in the correct order and spelled correctly, there is no way you're going to be able to recover your wallet, and there's no way anyone can recover your wallet. Once you have this and you've written it down, you will hit next. And what you will see is this. Full node, you'll see status not synced, which not good. It should say syncing or synced. Not synced is never good. But I have seen several people ask this question on their support. Their support is not Discord, it's through an app called Keybase. I will include the way to join the support for it as well. And this involves port forwarding and UPnP, if I remember correctly. But keep in mind, I'm on my university's network, and they most likely probably have this blocked off. That's why for me it's saying not synced. So I am not going to worry about this because this is not mining on my machine, but I will show you how to set it up. What you will do is you will go to plots, you will go to add plot, and you can select any of these. Now this 600 is for testing purposes. You will not be able to mine with it if you select this. Don't do that. And all of the reading and information that I can find is there is no difference between any one of these in running one 8 gig plot and doing 8 1 gig plots. Now keep in mind, this 101 is not the temporary. This is the final space. So the plotting drive is the temporary drive, and you'll actually be using 239 gigabytes temp space, and then it will move it to your finalized drive, because you have to have 2 drives to do this, and then that finalized drive will be 101.4 gigabytes. So for this, I'm just going to keep it as the first option. The number of plots. If you have a hard drive that can run multiple plots because this does require RAM and your CPU to do, as well as a good hard drive. But I'm going to do an example of 2. So I'm going to run them in parallel. So I'll select 2 plots, run in parallel. Now I made the mistake of not staggering these. You need to stagger these. And then it is okay for your first one to put a number that you think would be adequate, such as 90 minutes. Now, as you get the plot actually done, you can view the log and it will tell you how long it took. You can then use your math to determine the efficient way to stagger these. But I have found out that if you're going to run plots in parallel, you definitely need to stagger them. So I'm going to enter 90 minutes. So it will do 2 plots, 90 minutes apart. You definitely want to show advanced options. And this is your RAM. This is how much RAM will be used per plot. And this is number of threads that will be used per plot. Number of buckets, you leave that alone. There's not a lot of information on that. So as of right now, I'm leaving that alone. And queue name, you can leave it as default. You can type it Q1. You can do this queue. It doesn't matter what you name it. But I'll leave it as default. And I will dedicate, I'll leave this says 3 gigs of RAM, but you could dedicate up to, I believe it is 7 gigs. I could be wrong. It could only be 5 gigs is the max, but it's somewhere between 5 and 7 gigs per plot is the maximum number of RAM that it will use. And then you will dedicate the threads. So if we're doing 2, I have, let's say I have 8 cores, 16 threads. I could dedicate 8 threads per plot at 3 gigs of RAM. So it'll use 3 gigs of RAM and 8 threads per each plot. I do not disable bit-filled plotting and I do not exclude final directory. I leave those alone. Here is the temporary directory. You will select OneDrive. I'm going to do my local drive because I've only got 2 drives on this computer, and I will select it. Typically on a temporary drive that you want to do this, you don't want to have any files on it, so you either want a new drive or you want to format your old drive, and you want to select the folder. And then the final directory is the second hard drive that this will go to. This is where once it's done plotting, it'll go to the final directory to then add to the change. So I'll put it in my G because it's a different drive. Now the recommendation is an SSD for the temporary, and with my experience, you can do this with, it doesn't have to be an SSD. You can do this with a regular hard drive. You can do this with an SSD. It is faster with an SSD, and I would recommend an SSD, but just because it's recommended doesn't mean you have to. You can do this on any drive as long as it is big enough. Remember, temporary is 239 times 2 because it's 2 plots. So as long as you've got enough space, I want to call that 240. So 240 is 480. And then your second drive has, since 2 plots, this will be call it 202 for it. It'll work. Now, depending on your hardware, depends on your RAM that you dedicate, your threads, the temporary drive is how fast this process will take. Now, I will go ahead and admit I did not stagger my plots on my NAS, so it's doing all of my plots at once at the same time, and it has taken 18 hours just to do 30%, which that is very slow. That's very bad. That's very inefficient, and that is because I set it up inefficiently, which is my fault. But I don't want to stop at plotting because that means all of that time was wasted. Now, your experience is going to be different from mine, and your setup is going to be different from mine. Please let me know if I have made a mistake or if I have missed information that I have not included, or if you believe that you may know more than me, which could very well be the case, and you would like to share your experience or your information that you have in the comments, as would be very helpful to me, because I am still new at this. I'm still learning this Chia coin. I think it's interesting, and I would really like to see where it goes. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know how I do. That really helps. And that noise that you hear in the background is my cat playing with her toy. Y'all have a good day.